What's going on, everybody? We're doing Boogie Woogie today, so I had to bring it back to that. But of course, it's also St. Patty's Day for those who celebrate and or just like to have fun on the day and look for an excuse to have fun. Either way, hey, that's what we're doing today. And that was a little on the spot Boogie Woogie treatment of Oh Danny Boy. I probably would have told you that I would never have expected to ever play that, but here we are. Welcome, everyone, to another Playground Sessions YouTube live lesson. Thank you for joining us. As I mentioned, we're looking at Boogie Woogie again today. Specifically, there was a new request for easy Boogie Woogie. That tells me a few things. That tells me that you guys, one, voted on user voice, so thank you for utilizing that new tool that we've got. And two, it tells me that you are enjoying the Boogie Woogie lessons. Three, it tells me that potentially what we covered in the last Boogie Woogie lessons were a bit difficult for some of you because this new topic voted on was for easy Boogie Woogie. So here we are, and we're going to be covering some things that we covered in the last lesson, but I'm going to be also providing some simplified versions, and specifically I'm hoping to answer any and all questions you guys have about Boogie Woogie. What makes it difficult for you? What's the most challenging thing you found the last time we covered Boogie Woogie? And Boogie Woogie. How many times can I say Boogie Woogie in one lesson? That's not a pop quiz question. First, before we get into the lesson, you guys, I want to check in with you in the chat. So I want to say, hey, Jennifer, hey, Ann Beadle, oh, excuse me, Beatty. I hope I'm saying that right. Tim Johnson, what's going on? Iman Boyle, what's up, my friend? Hey, Tim Johnson, Rianne, Saul, Frank L. More blues and jazz standards in the app. Hey, you and me both. If you guys use user voice to request songs, keep putting in votes for jazz and blues, and that'll let us know that it's important to you guys. Hey, Camille. Hey, Kathy. Any chance of getting a song or two to follow up on your lessons, Boogie Woogie, jazz, etc.? Yeah, you know, I think that if we keep talking about jazz and Boogie Woogie and we find ourselves going over similar patterns and riffs, I think it would be smart to try and put something in the app. So let me kind of run that through the pipeline and see what we have in store for the next couple of weeks and months in the song queue and see if I can get something in there. At the very least, what I can offer in the short term is that the exercises we covered today, I can post as a PDF in the Facebook community. For those who are not members of the Facebook Playground Sessions community, highly recommend you join it. It's a private group, but if you request to join, you'll be admitted. And it's a really supportive, awesome, active group of students just like yourselves. Robert Atkins getting a piano in 3 days. Man, I'm jealous. Wait a minute. Charles Smith is also getting a piano. What's going on? You guys are all getting pianos? Man, that's cool. Hopefully you guys get something that can work with Playground Sessions. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. Elta John, what's up? Kevin, hey. Pat Sir. All right. Charles Smith, arm is sore from the first vaccine shot. Sorry to hear that. I'm on the waiting list here in Ohio, but I am not in I'm not in the bracket. How can I say this? I'm under 40. But hopefully in a month or so I'll get mine. All right, guys, so we're talking Boogie Woogie today, and I want you guys to answer, I want you guys to ask any question. I really need to understand what was feeling a bit too tricky in our last Boogie Woogie lesson. Was it putting the hands together with syncopated rhythms? That's definitely tricky, right? Right? That can be tricky for sure. Was it just the left hand riff itself? What can it be? Help me help you guys. If you put it in the chat, I can steer this lesson accordingly. It looks like we have a comment from Charles Smith saying 1-6-4-5 progression can be Boogie Woogie. You know, that's interesting. Boogie Woogie is not just defined by this progression that I've been outlining. The progression I've been outlining is kind of a basic 1-4-5 blues pattern. And that's kind of a stock go-to for this kind of a style of music. But Boogie Woogie can be more than that. I think of Boogie Woogie as more of that shuffle swing pattern, that rhythmic pattern. And so you may have caught at the beginning of this lesson, I was messing around with a Boogie Woogie interpretation of Oh Danny Boy. I didn't really do 1-4-5. Actually, I did do 1-4-5 on that. But nonetheless, it wasn't that standard blues. It was... added kind of a diminished chord in there, it still works. There's a couple of things I think of that make it sound boogie woogie, and that is that shuffle pattern, ba-doom, 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 that hard swing rhythm. And then also, I'm sort of trying to hint at that bass riff, that melodic riff that covers the chord that I walked through in our last lesson. And as a refresher, if we have a C7 chord here, C major triad with a flat 7, that makes it a C dominant 7, right guys? That pattern I outlined was to walk through that with a little passing tone of the 6th. And then you go up and back down. So I tried to kind of do that in Oh Danny Boy, and then I got to the 4 chord, same thing, but then here I went to so it can vary from that progression. This is all to say that, yes, Charles Smith, you are right. You can apply this kind of a swing feel and bass line riff, if you will, to any progression. And so let's play that out a little bit, Charles Smith. 1, 6, 4, 5. So the blues we covered before, the basic 1, 4, 5 blues, 1, 4, 5. In the key of C, that means the chord starting from the 1 scale degree, which is C. The 4 is F, and the 5 is G. We made all of those dominant 7ths. But let's see what it would sound like if we did 1, 6, 4, 5. So 1 would be C, 6 would be A minor, 4 would be F, and 5 would be G. Kind of have that triplet swing feel implied in there, and you have a bit of a walking bass line. I think that works just fine. That's cool. Hola, Regina. Sarah Pickles, what's up? Iman Boyle, hands together and jumping on chord changes while keeping everything smooth and steady is hard. You said it, Iman. That is correct. Now, some things that I like to do in my lessons here are to try to cover a range of difficulty, because I know that there are a lot of different people watching, and you guys all may have a different level on your end. So I want there to be something for everyone. But sometimes that can accidentally lead to me doing something that is harder than the majority of the viewers can do, at least in the moment with me. And so I apologize for that in our last Boogie Woogie lesson. I like to hint at what's possible as you take a simple idea and get more advanced with it. But I definitely didn't mean to suggest that, hey, everyone, get your hands up and do this with me. Right? There's all sorts of stuff that we would have to build our way up towards if we really wanted to play that stuff. So today I want to keep it more simple, and I want to first bring it down to a very, very beginner level. And to me, that means focusing on one element alone. And so let's take a look at that riff that we had from our last lesson, just the left hand, just 2 measures worth here. Let's pull that up now, and this is the pattern we started with last time. However, it did require us to change out of our hand position. In other words, there's not just one place to put our hand that covers everything. We had to do something like this. 2 finger over to B flat, and then back down. And there's other ways to do it too, but unfortunately it's not very comfortable to play all 5 of those notes in one position. So first, let's take a step back. This does not have to all be done in one hand. If you want to free up your right hand to be able to play chords on top of this, or to play a solo or something, sure, you want to be able to do that in the left hand alone. But that's a bit more advanced and complex. So what I want to challenge us to do now is to play this riff that we see on screen, but with both of our hands. So this is a true sort of rookie approach, and we do this often with our rookie easy level arrangements in the interactive app, where we take just the melody and we spread it across 2 hands. What that does is it allows you to lock in your hand position with both hands, but cover a wider range without having to move. Shifting around on the keyboard can be difficult for beginner players. So let's take this riff here and let's imagine that the top two notes, A and B flat, are in the right hand part. So what we can do then is get our left hand up and just play a straight up C major triad. Everyone get your hands up and try this with me. Left hand, boom, C chord, pinky on C, third finger on E, first finger or thumb on G. And we're going to play those all for now as a block chord. I want you to get used to that shape. So play that with me a few times. Now, let's keep our hand in that same shape, and let's just walk up one note at a time. Now middle finger on E, now thumb on G, and stop there. Now let's walk back down. G, E, C. Now stop, let's do it again. Ready? Do it with me. C, E, G. Now rest. Now back down. G, E, C. Show of hands in the chat, by the way. Put a hand emoji or whatever you want. If you play your own keyboard or piano along with these Wednesday night YouTube live lessons, it's really valuable information for me. Thumbs up if you do, maybe thumbs down if you don't. All right, so what I want to do next is get our right hand in the mix. Let's put our thumb on A, just above where our left hand thumb is. Thumb on A. Our second finger should fall really comfortably on B flat. So for now, let's forget about our left hand. Get your right hand up, thumb on A, 2 on B flat, and then thumb back to A. One more time. A, B flat, A. All right, when we get the left hand back up, it could look something like this. Starting with the bottom, C, left hand pinky. 3 on E, now thumb on G, now right hand thumb on A, 2 on B flat, back down to right hand thumb on A, now back to left hand thumb on G, 3 on E, and 5 on C. That's it, you guys, and when we land back on that C, you can take off again, going back up. Was it Uncle Rabbit last time? Or I forget who was playing bass along with us. If you got your bass out, you got a guitar, you singing, whatever you're doing, you can jam along with me here. But I'm hoping you're in front of your keyboard or piano. And we're going to take it super duper slow for now. This is one of the keys to making something that is difficult more achievable or attainable, is taking it ultra slow. Let's do it one more time, up and back down. Seeing a lot of thumbs up in the chat, that's cool. A couple thumbs down, that's cool too. All right, now when we are ready to try and speed that up, I would say that it's important to gradually speed up. So let's not now go to this. All right, let's take it maybe about here. Join me on the next round, ready? C, E, G, A, B flat, A, G, E, C. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. You can already hear that kind of groove coming together the more we speed up this tempo. So I want you guys to sit with that, and I want you to remember that when you're biting off something as big as a whole style of music like this, you want to learn Boogie Woogie, it's going to take some time and some smaller stepping stones to get to the point where you can play what you're hearing or what you want to be able to play. That's true for most things, not just learning piano or learning music. You've got to ease into it. And so that's a good place to start. And I think that that's a much easier way to start than to throw all of that in your left hand and immediately get into right hand stuff. All right, now from here what I would do, and let's go ahead and pull up the larger piece of notation here. This one can seem intimidating because there's a lot more measures, but I just want to remind you guys that the pattern applies to all of these chords. So we can have C7, like we did, and then when we go to F7, we want to move that whole shape up. So now the left hand is going to be playing an F major triad. Same pattern though. And then right hand plays D, E flat, D, and then back down. And you can go back down to C, right? But before we even talk about, let's go back to just the 2 measure notation there. Before we talk about the larger form, I don't want us to get too ahead of ourselves too quickly. Stay here. For anyone that feels like our last Boogie Woogie lesson was too tough, I want you to think about what's on screen now as 2 stages in your growth. The first one should be to do what we just did. 2 hands, get this pattern down so you can visualize it easily and play it evenly and just stay on the 1 chord. The next stage from here would be to do this all in the left hand. And that is going to be a step up in difficulty if you're at the stage where you need to do it in 2 hands first. So you'll have to get there. And you'll get there by practicing. It won't take too long. From there, though, you're going to want to open back up to 1 hand position, which is going to require you to bring your 2 finger over to B flat and then walk back down. Take it from there, you guys. All right, I want to jump back in the chat here and make sure that I'm checking in with your guys' Boogie Woogie questions. Okay, good. Blake Lynn T says, my dad plays Boogie Woogie. Excited to learn some more about it. Cool. I hope this is helping you understand a bit more. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, the chat is getting active. I love it. Hands together. So Parker's saying hands together was tough as well. Elta says, I need more guidance on the right hand, like I need to see the right hand in sheet music. I can't get my Boogie Woogie to sound right. Yeah, this is challenging because the left hand is our anchor in our time, in our timing, right? We're playing even beats. We're not swinging this riff like. Instead, we're playing all strong beats. So this is actually, rhythmically speaking, the easier hand, right? Where we get into that jazzy boogie woogie syncopation is the right hand, because the right hand chords accent the weak beats and therefore makes the whole thing swing. Right? That's when it starts to get tricky, and if you don't have the right feel there, it can sound a little square or it's too straight, as you might say. It's kind of the opposite of swing. You might get this on accident. That's kind of more of like a polka vibe. And so what we need is to really exaggerate the swing and accent the weak beats, the upbeats in the right hand. And yes, that can be challenging. So fair point, Elta. I think that it might help to have the right hand chords written in so that you can really break it down, walk through each beat, and subdivide everything. You would see that if you had that kind of classic, I think it's like the Charleston rhythmic pattern, you would have. So some of them are in line with the left hand, others are going back and forth syncopated with the left hand. So that's actually something that I can say that I'll follow up with you guys. We're going to add some right hand chords. However, I do want to keep this geared on the easier side for today. And so what I will do is, instead of focus on how to put the hands together, I can tell you that in the right hand, what you can do to simplify is not do dominant 7th chords, but rather just the root and the 5th. So we have left hand walking that bass line. Right hand, you could just get away with a C and a G. That's the root and the 5th. So you can do something like this. You could also simplify the rhythms to start. So something like this. And really, you can make up any kind of variation on that in the right hand. But I hear your point. We jumped in pretty deep last time. Robert Atkins says, when you think about harmonies in the blues, what's the thought process? Is it just outlining the chords? You know, it depends on the style, Robert. But I would say that with the blues, the straight-ahead blues, your best bet is to not get too crazy and fancy with additional harmonies. Now, people will often play blues in a more jazzy way, which often means that there's a jazz turnaround at the end of the form. And that is referring to a jazz progression that we overlay on top of the 12-bar form at the end. That's like this. Hold on, let me get there. So it's kind of like a 3-6-2-5-1 thing. None of that's necessary, and in fact, sometimes that can get in the way of just the pure blues. So yes, I would say that what you want to do is focus on the major or minor, or the major triad with the flat 7. All right, let's see here. Elta John says, I noticed you went down an octave for 6. Why did I choose to do that? You know, I think it was probably because if I were to go up, that kind of gets into the territory where my right hand was. So I think it was a decision I made on the fly so that I wouldn't smash into my right hand and I can keep my range between the hands at an appropriate distance. Rianne says, simple is awesome. Good, I'm glad to hear that. Camille, any exercises for hand coordination? I do advanced stuff in PGS, but can't coordinate anything with shuffle rhythm in the left hand. Again, this is that tension, that push and pull of syncopated rhythms, where your one hand is required to stay unwavering on the strong beats, while your right hand is meant to play in the cracks with that lazier swing feel. That can be very challenging. Somebody asked in our last lesson or two about swing, and if you're supposed to if swing slows the tempo down. The trick with swinging is you're not supposed to slow the tempo down, but often it can result in that if you're having difficulty putting the hands together. So I would say that, Camille, I think Elta asked a question earlier that would lend itself nicely to an answer here, and that is to have the right hand and left hand parts written out so you can look at each beat and subdivide. So you would say, okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right? So you could really get down on that micro level and map everything out extremely slowly. That's something I can't hammer home enough. And it's not just you guys. This is every piano student in the world. This is even myself when I'm learning new stuff, because even though I'm a teacher, I'm also a student too, depending on what I'm working on. I can't hammer it home enough. Slower than you think. That's the key to building something up towards your goal. Start extremely slow. So Camille, I would find a passage that's syncopated, and I'm going to post something in the group this week that's got the left hand Boogie Woogie riff and an example of right hand chords. And I would ask that you just take a measure out of that and practice it ultra slowly. All right, it looks like people are... So my question was, do people watch these lessons in front of their keyboard or piano so that they can practice what I'm saying in the moment, or are you just watching it without your keyboard? And it looks like a lot of people are saying that they are. Some people don't. That's all right. This is helpful for me. Charles Smith, my left hand still has some numbness in the little finger. I end up playing single note left hand a great deal because of this. Charles, without knowing more info, it's going to be hard for me to diagnose that, but I would say that if your pinky is feeling numb, it's possible that it is extra tense when you're playing with your non-pinky fingers. So I would encourage you to slow things down, strip away the extra challenges, just look at your left hand and make sure that you're being as relaxed as you can be when practicing. If you don't notice it and it is tense, then most certainly you're going to be playing for 5 or 10 minutes and you're going to have to take a break just from that. So make sure that you're not practicing for too long with extra tension or pain. And beyond that, yeah, I guess I would say I'll leave it there. But give me some more info and I may be able to help more. Iman Boyle, 11 p.m., putting your kids to bed, you can't play. Understood. That's right. Oh, you saying you guys thought the lesson was early today?
Some people don't do daylight savings time.
Oh, you guys. See, daylight savings time is such a weird thing, and there's mixed feelings on it. I see. Yeah, our times changed last weekend. Sorry about that. I guess I just assumed that was I forget that that's not a universal thing, so sorry for the confusion there, everyone. All right. Man, all right, so Weird Al, hold on. Charles Smith, Weird Al Phil, and his polka band. Hey, there you go. Maybe we can get Weird Al in the live lesson one time. Speaking of live lesson guests, I want to talk to you guys about something special we're going to be doing next week. I had a couple of, I saw a couple questions early in the chat today about how people are doing with the Grace course so far. So for those who don't know, we just launched a new course, all 3 levels, video lessons for every single one, showcasing a new song from Quincy Jones' newest artist named Shalea. She's got a song called Grace, a wonderful piano song with vocals. She's an incredible singer and pianist, and she wrote this song, and she was kind enough to give us the actual recordings from her her album version of the song to put into the app. So we've broken it down for all levels, and you can actually play along with her actual vocals, even when you slow it down to slow tempo. It's super cool, and I'm really excited about this thing. So next week, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with the time change, of course, we are going to be covering a bit of accompanying style again, because that's what this course is all about. And Shalea is actually going to be joining us live. Really excited about this. Shalea is really knowledgeable about all the stuff we've been covering. I'm going to be asking her about not only her composition and her training and all of that, but also what kinds of things she practices, any tips she might have for students. She is a really, really sweet person, and I highly encourage everybody to join and write some questions in the chat for her, and she may be able to get to some of those as well. If you haven't seen this song or heard this song or heard of Shalea yet, I want to give you guys a little bit of a trailer, a little bit of a teaser of this song. This is from her official music video. Don't forget, she's joining us 1 week from today live. Here's a sample of the song. If you haven't checked it out in the app yet, I'll be back in just a minute.
My mind, but I'm scared to share it, 'cause you can't hit rewind. If I don't get it right every time, would you hold it against me or leave me behind? I'm just trying to make it through the day, and I'm searching for the words to say. Can I get a little grace? Can I get a little empathy? Can we come back to the light and leave darkness behind? I just need a little hope. I'm not asking for your sympathy. You can't wait for things to change and still be the same. I just need a little grace. I just need a little grace. Can I get a little grace? Some grace. I promise I'll hear you out. So speak your truth, I won't shut you down. There's more to us than we'll ever know, but it takes forgiveness, and that's harder to show. I'm just trying to make it through the day, and I'm searching for the words to say. Can I get a little grace? Can I get a little empathy? Can we come back to the light and leave darkness behind? I just need a little hope. I'm not asking for your sympathy. You can't wait for things to change and still be the same. I just need a little.
Sorry to cut her off there. I wanted to get back to the lesson here and give you guys something to look forward to for next time. The song is beautiful. It continues on from there. She really brings the energy up. She takes the melody up a whole octave. She starts belting, and in the piano arrangement, we're going to try and match her energy there as accompanists. I've been checking the chat here. It looks like some of you have started at various levels. Robert Atkins says the bridge makes the song. Totally, I love the bridge. So we're in the key of C for a while, you know. And then when we get to the bridge, we get right into this flat 6 major. Well, not all that's in there. I just can't help myself. But that's such a cool progression. It's so uplifting, right? And then we get into... And then eventually we take it up a whole half step. Beautiful, beautiful song. I can't wait to interview Shalea live next week with you guys, for you guys. It's going to be really fun. She's really, really cool. So who else here? Saul says, I played the rookie and intermediate, really nice song, then tried advanced and went right back to rookie and intermediate. I feel it. The advanced version is no joke. You guys, the advanced version is the actual transcribed part from the album. It's what Shalea plays on the recording, and it does have a lot of stuff going on, especially in the choruses. For those who are gonna choose that advanced path all the way through, you'll see it gets into a lot of this kind of thing. A lot of moving, a lot of inner parts, a lot of inversions. So good luck to all. Yeah, I'm really excited. So mark your calendars, please, for that. You guys, I just want to spend a couple more minutes talking about Boogie Woogie questions, and then we're going to call it a day here for today. We're actually moving to a new studio soon here in Akron, Ohio. Today and this weekend, next week, we're actually going to start shifting some stuff over. So that's exciting for us, but we're going to try and keep it on the shorter side as a result. All right, so let's see if I can find another couple good. Well, here's actually a comment from Derek Schwartz. Hey, Derek. Thanks for joining us, Derek. Derek asks if there are beginner lessons. Derek, I try and cover the range of difficulty on YouTube. I try and lean more towards rookie and intermediate. But if you don't know about the interactive app, you got to check it out. There's a free trial you can take advantage of and see what it's all about. But yes, we have all difficulty levels in the app: rookie, intermediate, and advanced. We also have within each level a range. So you can have rookie easy, rookie moderate, rookie hard, intermediate easy, intermediate moderate. There's something for everybody. We also have a song store where you can download arrangements at any level, and a boot camp section with lessons that teach more of the fundamentals, some theory, some basics, how to read music, how to count rhythms, all that stuff. So I highly encourage you to take a deeper dive for yourself and see what the app has got for you. Let's see here. Any Boogie Woogie questions? Okay, here's one from DK. I got several Boogie Woogie left-hand patterns sorted, and hand independence seems to be developing nicely, but struggle with right-hand riffs to put with it. All right, that is not going to prompt me for an easy Boogie Woogie focused lesson here, but I will answer your comment nonetheless. What I would say is to treat a riff, a quote-unquote riff, as a chord shape that's being outlined by one note at a time, just like we're doing in the left hand. So if you can do this, then you could also probably do this. All I'm doing there is taking my 3-note chord and playing it one note at a time instead of all as a block chord. And then voila, instead of having a chord, we have a riff. Now, if you have a more complex riff that's going all over the place and doesn't outline a chord shape, well then, I don't have a tip for you there other than just to practice stuff slowly and work out the riff on its own until you can do it without really thinking too much about it. Then bring the hands back together and go ultra slow. Yeah, cool, good for you. I'm glad to hear you're making progress on that. All right, well, you guys voted on easy Boogie Woogie. And, okay, here's something. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. Oh, somebody asked if we'd still be doing Boogie Woogie next week. No, we're going to take a pause, you guys. We're going to spend time with Shalea live, and I really hope you guys will join for that and hear her perspective and her story, as well as her thoughts on piano and some tips for students. After that, we're going to get back to the normal voting from user voice. Let's go ahead and check in with user voice, actually. And let's see, this is a live view of user voice. So what is our top, what's the winning topic right now that we haven't done yet? This one's been up in there for a few weeks now. I'm kind of rooting for it now too, because it's a great topic, but it doesn't seem to be able to get to the #1 spot. This topic is how to go from picking a song to starting to learn it to putting it all together. Basically, walking through a whole flow. How do you even know what song to pick? How do you know where to start? So that's the current front runner on the topics right now. What's our second runner up right now?
How to figure out which fingers to use when playing a sheet music you've never seen before.
Great question. We have a topic that was looks like it's the #2 on the list, which is how to figure out what fingering should be used when you're looking at a brand new piece of music that you haven't seen before, presumably not in the Playground app because we provide finger suggestions for everything. But often you will find sheet music that does not have finger numbers at all, or it only has it for a few of the notes on the page. So that's a great topic as well. How do you figure that out? That could be a lesson in and of itself. So I want to encourage you all to go to User Voice. Andrew, if we can post that link. Oh, he already did. He's always one step ahead of me. And so, yeah, click that link and make your voice heard. Next week we're going to be live with Shalea, but the week after we'll pick from that list. Robert Atkins is going to be there with bells on. I love it. I love the attitude. All right, Robert, here's a Boogie Woogie comment. Robert says, I can do the left-hand pattern and the chord right hand, but I can't play the blues scale over it. Yeah, that's definitely a step or two up from the chord, right? When you have one chord in your right hand, you can kind of forget about it. You can look over at your left hand. You know your right hand's not moving anywhere, right? But when you get into a scale, especially one that has some awkward intervals, like the blues scale, then you can't really forget the right hand. You've got to split your attention evenly. And so here's one suggestion for you, Robert, is I would take the blues scale and split it into 2 separate halves. So for example, find one half. It can have 4 notes or 5, whatever is comfortable for you, but so that you don't have to move your hand out of the position. And just start with that. Come up with a little bit of a pattern within that. Then stop, reset, and go up to the top half. Maybe it's just the top 3 notes. The point here is to eliminate some of the additional challenges. One challenge is just simply playing a riff. Another challenge is moving your hand positioned around within a riff, or a scale in this case. So strip away that challenge of having to move your hand and start simple. Maybe just start with 2 notes in the scale, like the top 2. Maybe add a 3rd one. Then take your time, pause. You don't have to then shift down in time. Go back down and maybe just do the first 3 notes on the bottom. Just a couple of tips there. When you're feeling good about both groups, right? The first half and the second half, then you can start to bridge them together. But again, don't just add them all together. Maybe make a middle shape or transition from one into the first note of the next. You see where I'm going with that. But again, take baby steps, little stepping stones towards your progress, you guys, and you'll be happy that you did, because in the end, you'll be building on stronger foundations. If you try and bite off too much at once, you may be able to get a glimpse of glory with that, but it's going to feel a little shaky, and if you don't practice for a couple days, you may lose that. So small incremental steps help you build on what you've learned in the past. All right, I think we have time for one more today. DK says, thought it was about Boogie Woogie. Let's see if I missed something here. Penelope, okay, well, I'll get back to you, DK. Penelope says, I love it. Trying the advanced today was okay. Days 1 and 2 are very challenging. All right, good for you, Penelope. That's a lot. Her voice is beautiful, I agree. Anderlin, what's up? Where can I find the song lyrics? Well, we've decided not to put the lyrics in the notation, mostly because it can push all the notation down as you get into more and more systems. We'd like to try and see at least 2 full systems on screen at once. Notation can get a little cluttered with the lyrics in there, but I guarantee if you Google it, this song is being pushed out pretty hard right now by Quincy's team, and I bet you will find the lyrics online. All right, what did I miss here? Elta John, does she sing the whole time while playing the advanced version? Yes, she does, Elta. Yes, she does. Charles Smith, standard form for Boogie Woogie. I guess I'm going to say, like I said earlier, form, we typically talk about chord progression or a set of measures, like a 12-bar blues. 12 measures is the form. I would say that probably if there was one classic sort of Boogie Woogie, it would probably be the 12-bar blues, just played kind of with that shuffle, walking bass line riff, and some of that syncopated right-hand chords. So I would say, when in doubt, anchor it in that 12-bar blues, that 1-4-5. Well, DK, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm following your question. Okay. So maybe you're saying you thought this was going to be a lesson on Boogie Woogie. I tried to make it a lesson on Boogie Woogie, but I also wanted to preview the fact that Shalea is going to be here next week. So again, let me know if there's something I didn't cover that you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, you can make your voice heard in user voice, and you could vote on what you'd like me to do next. Yeah, I saw a couple people. I'm going to end it here, guys. I saw a couple people say, some different artists or songs that showcase a Boogie Woogie. My dad's in the chat. My dad made some good points. Little Richard, Tutti Frutti, that's a classic one, and it's got that like. Right, something like that. That's the exact same idea. So good calls. So yeah, Little Richard's great. Fats Domino, all that stuff. Blueberry Hill, yeah, good call, Robert. All right, guys, well, hey, we're going to leave it there for today, but please make sure you join me for a special treat next week. We're going to have Shalea, the composer and performer of Grace, joining us live here on YouTube. She'll be taking questions from me, and I hope to pass some questions up from you guys up to her. I will see you guys there. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Can I get a little grace? Oh, some grace. We've got to find a better way and start living out the words we say. If there's one thing that's true, in the end it's me and you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Can I get a little grace? Can I get a little empathy? Can we come back to the light and leave darkness behind? I just need a little hope. I'm asking for your sympathy. We can't wait for things to change and still be the same. I just need a little grace. I just need a little grace. Do you need a little grace? I just need a little grace. Hey, I just need a little grace. Oh, grace. I'm just trying to make it through the day, and I'm searching for the words to say.